Hey guys, let's get right into it. So I am with Tinsley on this one. Why would she tell Dorinda anything about her life when Dorinda continues to take things about her life, misconstrue it, and then spew it back to her in like a vile manner? I wouldn't tell her anything. And I feel like Tinsley has tried to like open up to Dorinda, and Dorinda is still not satisfied because one, she believes that Tinsley is producing a storyline and not telling the truth. Because the truth is that Tinsley has been dating Scott this whole time. She doesn't live in New York, or she lives there part-time to film the show. She resides for the rest of the year after the show stops filming in Chicago with Scott. That is Dorinda's issue with Tinsley. I've said it before and I'll say it again. She has a problem that she is showing her real life and Tinsley is not. All of the girls have the issue. Dorinda is just a bit more abrasive with her discontent of Tinsley lying about her storyline. But I also get where Tinsley is coming from, because we have watched her in multiple seasons try to like open up and connect with Dorinda, and Dorinda is just not having it. Could it be she just doesn't want to get to know her because she thinks she's fake? If that's the case, then Dorinda, you either got to break the fourth wall and let us know the truth, or you have to stop being so bothered by her. Because the issue is, none of the other women are joining you with such a venom towards Tinsley about lying about Scott. They might say it in their confessionals, but they're still like pretty chill about it. So you just look crazy coming at this girl about her man and being involved in her life, when, to be quite honest with you, it's none of your business. Also, Tinsley, I don't know why you're asking Sonja to back you up and have your back when it comes to Dorinda concerning your personal life. Because Sonja, from day one, has been jealous of you since you set foot in her dilapidated townhouse. She has been coming at you, talking about your privilege, talking about your relationship. Sonja wishes that she had Tinsley's pedigree. She married into the pedigree and was immediately kicked out after the divorce. She was able to hang on to a bit of her friendships, but she did not still possess the life that she had when she was married to, what is she? She's not a Mortimer. Chase. One of them Chase, right? One of them big banking families, right? So she used to have that life. She did not have it anymore. And I think she envies Tinsley, because even though Tinsley is no longer married to a Mortimer, she's still pedigree. She's still involved in that life, and she cannot get kicked out because she was born into it. So that's Sonja's issue. Dorinda doesn't have the same issue. Her issue is that she's lying about it. So she's trying to do anything to like tear her down and come at her. Sonja's issue is that is Tinsley's truth. Like everything that she's ever wanted is Tinsley's truth, and she dislikes her for it. Sonja envies her. So if I was Tinsley, I wouldn't be telling Sonja none of my business or asking her for any kind of help, because she don't like you, sis. She hasn't liked you from the beginning. She regretted bringing you on the show day one. I think she only did it because she thought that being close to you would maybe get her back into the good graces of the 1%. It probably didn't work out, so she was ready to throw you out of her house and drag you on your first season. To be honest with you, Tinsley, your only real friend at this point on the show is Leah. Let's talk about the ladies trying to find a reason to not accept Leah into the group. Leah has several tattoos. Leah's an 80s baby. Like, there are a lot of 80s babies, men and women and everybody in between, who have tramp stamps. Not me, because baby, I'm not putting a bumper sticker on a Bentley. No sir, no ma'am. No sir, no ma'am. So Leah opens up to the ladies about her having tattoos, and they just pounce on that because that is something that makes Leah different. She's from the rough side of the track. She's not like us. She's a rough around the edges because she has tattoos. What? They don't have anything else, but because Tinsley brought her into the group, because she is young, because she is self-made, there is their issue with her, because Leah is not pedigree. Leah was raised like a lot of middle class and working class kids, right? Your parents send you off to good schools, right? Or they make sure that you're working in a good neighborhood or on the good side of town so that you can have access to those privileges and probably those men to marry into pedigree like a Tinsley Mortimer, right? Not saying that she's broke, you know what I mean? You're not broke if you live in New York City. I don't care where you're living. If you're living in New York City, you have some money, because even the lowest of the low, the cheapest rent in New York City is expensive to about 90% of the nation, right? So I'm not saying that, she is poor or working class. I think she's somewhere in the middle, but more straight New York middle class. So she was able to have access to these friendships because her parents were paying an arm and a leg to send her to a private Catholic school on the better side of town. So I think the ladies envy her because, unlike a lot of them, or all of them, she did not get her money through a man. She got her money through being kicked in the face by a police officer and starting her business. But she's self-made. So I think that's another issue that they have with her. I think it's also her youth. I think it's also the fact that she has access to everything that they have access to, and she does not have to put on a front. The ladies envy anything or any woman that has access to privileges that they now have access to that did not have to go through the same avenues that they did to get there. So this whole thing about Leah's tattoos is something that they were just waiting for. They needed something, even how small it is, they needed something to have on this girl when there's so much more. Leah will give you so much more to come after her about, but tattoos, please, how shallow, how classless. But it's the Real Housewives of New York, so. Shout out to the designer of Ramona's new home and her home that she just sold, that she shared with Marion, her daughter. That home and her home in the Hamptons. Whoever this designer is, they deserve a raise because all of Ramona's apartment in her Hamptons home, it all looked outdated and dusty and just, it didn't exude money. You know what I mean? It just looked like something real basic and tasteless. And no shade, but it showed that Ramona really did not know what she was doing in that area. So whoever she paid to fix up her home, to fix up her Hamptons home, to fix up this new apartment, great job, because both of her homes now are very light and just breathable. You know what I mean? It's not like stuff on top of stuff. Great colors that complement each other. It feels easy and modern and light, and it feels like wealth. Great job, Ramona, whoever it was who did all your stuff. Keep them and give them a pay raise. They upgraded you, sweetie. They really did a great job. So we have our first Hamptons trip. Luann is always extra, right? That's why we love her, the Countess. She's always extra. She's even more extra about these rooms. I'm Team Luann on this room situation because what you're not gonna do is invite me to your home on a little girls trip and you have me, a senior member on this show, a senior member in your girl clique. I've known you for almost close to 20 years. You put me in a basement and the two new chicks in big, bright, airy rooms on the second level? Hell no. I would have felt some way about Luann, especially when she sat down with Ramona and Ramona was going on and on and on about how beautiful her room would be. She never mentioned that she was putting this grown woman in the basement. You ain't putting me in no basement. Not my grown behind. Not if I can go get a nice little hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton. You're not putting me in the basement. I would have felt the same way. Especially since I don't do no rooms that don't have no windows. What is this, prison? Hell no. Luann was right. Team Luann on this one. She's extra about everything else. But this situation with the rooms, Team Luann. She damn sure could have put Tinsley and Leah in the basement. They would have been fine with it. Because that's what you get when you new to this clique. When we first met Dorinda, she was going through a lot, right? I'm starting to feel like, and y'all know it pains me to say this because y'all know this is my girl. I don't have no favorites on any of these shows. However, Dorinda, since she set foot on this show, has been my favorite. Even though she's my favorite, I still gotta clock my girl. Dorinda has come on this show. Every season, she has an issue. Every season, she behaves poorly and blames it on something that she's going through. It's not okay. It's not okay to mistreat people because you're dealing with something. Her first 2 seasons, I think everybody was really kind to her because she was dealing with the loss of her husband and then dealing with being alone and then being in this relationship with this really toxic guy that she's still with. So everybody was being very kind to her because she was still really raw from losing her husband. Not saying that she's not raw still, you know what I mean? Because this whole thing could just be about missing him and wanting him there to help her with the construction and all of that. However, at Dorinda's big age, she needs to know that she cannot lash out at people because she can't handle what's happening in her life. You are a good and grown woman. You need to learn how to communicate, properly without disrespecting people or blowing up when you feel like the conversation is not going your way. Because as soon as she gets there, she starts, I think she was talking to Ramona and she was just breaking down. It was either Ramona or Sonja. Let me know in the comment section which one it was. I think it was one or the other. But she starts breaking down because she's really frustrated about all the construction and all the things that's happening at Bluestone Manor because it recently flooded. I'm like, flooded? It be flooding up in the Berkshires? Especially where her home is placed. It doesn't seem like it's a place that's on a slant that would flood. That was really odd to me. I guess maybe there were like holes in the ceiling or something like that and it like the rain got into the walls. Maybe that's what happened. But anyway, she is really frustrated because Dorinda is used to being a housewife. She probably was a working mom until she met her husband. And then all of a sudden she fell back into a lady who lunches. A woman that is being taken care of by a very wealthy man. That was her life for like 20 years. And that is what she is used to. Although I feel like that's been her life from the get-go. She gives me, I used to date Goodfellas. Like Dorinda gives me, I used to date criminals and I still was a kept woman. Then I met a legit dude who had some money, so I was a kept woman, a legitimate kept woman. That's what I get from her. Anyway, she's very frustrated because she has to deal with everything now. She has to make the calls. She has to do the negotiation. She has to think over the supplies. She has to order the supplies. She has to pay the contractor. She has to do all of these things because they're reaching out to her and saying, hey, we got to do this. Is this okay? And she's used to just passing that off and not even dealing with that because that is something that her husband deals with. Listen, I get it. I'm not a kept woman. I want to be. Listen, this single woman stuff, this taking care of myself, listen, that's for the birds. Let me be kept. So I get it, right? However, those are your responsibilities. You know what I mean? You don't have a husband right now to take care of those things. You have to take care of those things. And I feel like even if you had a husband, you should know what's going on in your home. Like, I feel like in this day and age, women don't need to be blind to anything that their husband is doing concerning the finances, concerning the home, or you will be a Teresa Giudice. You do not want to do 2 years in federal prison because you don't know what's going on with the books. Know what's going on. Be aware. And if it comes down to it, act like you don't know when the feds come a knocking. But still, I don't think that this was enough to have like a breakdown over. I think maybe she was breaking down because this was something that her husband used to do. And I think when you have lost somebody in your life that you love so much, the littlest things will set you off. I deal with it with my grandmother. You know what I mean? Like, I can be doing my hair and I'll see like one of these curls and that's like her hair texture. I can start breaking down about that because I miss her. But I don't go beat up a cashier at Rite Aid because I'm going through something. That's my only thing. I'm just like, Dorinda needs to, at this point in her life, especially after watching yourself on multiple seasons explode on people for no reason, you need to figure out how to handle that, ma'am. It's not okay. Especially when, you know, Leah is just like, I'm kind of done with the tattoo comments because you guys don't know me, but you're making these comments. And she confronted all the ladies and even Dorinda, and Dorinda just was taking it personal. It was just like, oh no, girl, don't you do that. And Leah was just like, no, you're not going to talk to me like that. Listen, when those two go at it, it's going to be one for the books. It's going to be one for the books because neither one of them want to back down. And when Dorinda saw that Leah was not backing down, she started to get a little bit more agitated. However, she was able to finally come down because Leah was like, let's just start over. How is this girl? What is she, like 20 years younger than you? And she is leading out in maturity in this disagreement. It's Dorinda, you got to do better. You got to do better. I can't make excuses for you because I like your mom. You have got to do better. You're literally commenting about this woman's body and making a comment about only criminals wear tattoos. No, they don't. Because we've seen your boyfriend. Let me tell you something. He does not give me that everything that he is doing is legit. Dorinda has probably fallen back into dating wise guys because he don't give me that if the feds come a knocking, that them books is legit. I don't get that from John. But I also think that she reveled in having that information about Leah and the tattoos because, and she even said in her confessional, she wants to have something on her because she don't like her because she's Tinsley's friend. You too old, Dorinda. You too old for that. And also, how sad is it that she has a whole man and she can't trust him with anything concerning her home? She was just like, oh, well, you know, I just don't want to give that over to John. Why? This is your man that you have been dating for years. This is your man that you have been sleeping with for years. You can trust him with your vagina, but you cannot trust him with your contractors. That's just really odd to me. It's really, really odd to me. Unless John is storyline. Unless John is just, to be quite honest with you, a human vibrator. You know what I mean? Unless he's somebody that she calls over to, do what she needs to do, and then she sends him packing the next morning. Because that's how this relationship is starting to come off. Because I'm like, if you're frustrated, you can't call your man and be like, listen, I don't feel like dealing with this. I'm filming this show right now. I'm exhausted. I got a lot going on. Can you talk to them about everything that's going on at Bluestone Manor? John can't do that. John doesn't know how to deal with contractors. John doesn't know how to deal with issues in a home. Are you kidding me? He owns a whole business. That is his job, dealing with contractors. Like, what are you talking about? That just didn't make sense to me, that she cannot reach out to her dude if there's some issues that she has going on with contractors. And she, as a woman, feels frustrated by it because it's not something that she's used to dealing with, and also because she thinks that's man's work. If that's the issue, hand it over to John. But you can't do that? You can't trust him? So you sleeping with a man you can't trust? What? I want more for you, girl. I want more for you. And in saying that, I get why she don't trust John. He gives me scammatees. I told you. I feel like his books are cooked. I get it. But why you with him? I will say that I am not surprised that it took one episode before the ladies started to turn their nose up at Leah with the whole tattoo situation. I am really shocked that the Countess is still holding on to really supporting Leah and being really accepting. Every time the ladies try to talk about her with her tattoos, the Countess was just like, oh, I love her. I think she's great. And I was really shocked. I thought that out of all the ladies, the Countess would be the one to turn her nose up to Leah right away. Listen, prison probably changed her. Those couple nights in the jail cell, you know what I mean? Having a parole officer probably humbled her. The last season probably humbled her. She seems really different this season. Although from the previews of next week, it seems like she falls back into her old ways. But so far, so good with me, Countess. So far, so good. And I would like to say I'm also really shocked. Really shocked, but I'm glad that she did this. That the Countess apologized to all the ladies at dinner. She was just like, listen, I had a really bad year. And when I got out of that, I was very self-absorbed. And I did not realize how much I was putting on you guys and how much I was hurting you guys concerning my situation. And I'm sorry about that. It was a real, sincere, genuine apology. Have we ever heard that from the Countess? Guys, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's going to therapy. I don't know what she's doing or what she has done to get to where she is now. But I think that she has been putting in some really good work, because I was just really shocked. Even the ladies, Ramona was like, Ramona didn't have anything to say. And Ramona always has something to say. Good job, Countess. That's why you look so great. You're doing the work. You're doing the work. Anyway, that's it for me. Nothing much really happened this episode, but I like this show. I like reviewing it, and I'm going to keep it up. I will see you next week for that controversial episode where the Countess goes, goodbye from the lower level. She was doing so good this episode. I don't want to be disappointed, Countess. I want to be on your side, but man, that goodbye from the lower level seems a little extra, but that's why we watch this show. If you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see you next week for the following episode of The Real Housewives of New York. Bye. Oh my goodness, I just drank some lemonade, so my tongue is going through it. I should have never done that. I can't even talk. Anyway, bye guys. Love ya.